11:05, train was delayed. Back in Runcorn. 25 quid to park your car for 28 hours, no. 26 hours, I think, maybe. It's a joke, that, isn't it? Back now, just been unblocking the boiler. Had a twig in it, but look at that. Quad track looks amazing. It's been washed while I've been away. You saw it last night in the dark, but in the daylight, it looks great now, doesn't it? Just going to do an interview for LBC Radio. Nick Ferrari, is it? He's normally quite a tricky interviewer, but I think I know what I'm talking about. I've got the bale spike on to take some hay and straw around for the horses, then I just realised that we already keep one up there, so I'm going to take it off again and then do that. When they get back, we've got COLLAGE students visiting. I set off on that one and it was low on fuel anyway. Morgan was up the road, so I've swapped with him, so he's going to take that bucket back and I'm going to go on this one and then get it done. Lucky he was here. C&J off with another load of OSR. John's just pushing the pile up after loading that. Right, let's see how many. Is it 12 Rees Eve students? So it's only just over a ton. I thought it'd be more than that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. Oh well. Rees Heath have left now. This is in the workshop, getting nice and warm now. Ready to put the sticky bobbles on. Off Amazon. These are black ones, you can get white ones. Morgan's got these lights as well off Amazon, so we're going to get this one kitted out. As you might remember, a few weeks ago we went to Raking Gin and we made gin. Anyway, this is a bottle of some of the honey gin that we have made together. So if you go on our website, if you're quick, you'll get it for Christmas. It'll link you straight to the gin on the website and you can get some honey flavoured gin, which has got Stu and Vicky's honey in it as well. So be quick. Great Christmas present. Shameless plug. Yeah, and £1 from each bottle goes to FCN. Equally as well, £1 from each calendar sale goes to FCN. So have you ordered your calendar yet? Be quick with them as well, otherwise they won't arrive for Christmas. Admittedly, you don't need the calendar till New Year though. Rob's scraping all the mud off the yard. Now he's finished cleaning the quad track. He did some yesterday and a bit more again this morning. I've been on the phone to the council about the track to run. We've got to have another meeting next week now, which is a bit frustrating. But yeah, we'll get that done. That is, look, I think that's cleaner than the day before it came, or cleaner than when it did come. Not David Jones clean, but it's Tarbert clean. And then in here, Morgan's. So we can't wear boots in your cab, but you can wear boots to stand on the tractor. I see. Morgan's getting these lights on here that he's got. It's all right, isn't it? It's actually doing a charity thing on Saturday, isn't it? So, well, whichever one's ready. The quad track won't fit through the gates. They obviously light up as well, so they'll match them. I've got a 3D thing as well to go on the front. I don't know where that is. I might try and find that, see if it's come. I've got like this fan that spins around and makes 3D things. Huh? Morgan's made an amazing discovery. Go on, what is it?
So, if you like some Electrolyte 5 metre RGB smart fairy lights, you may also like a rice steamer, some reviving Epsom salts, or a football.
Random.
All that based on your liking an RGB fairy light.
Rob's doing his bit of knitting.
They're not coming off, are they?
No. Yeah, they're definitely not going to. What the risk is if one of them breaks, you're having to untangle it all. I reckon they're coming off with wire cutters, don't you?
100%. We've served us well over the last 4 years. It's time for retirement, I think, after this year.
Yeah, they're centre lights though, aren't they? If they're green, red. Right, Morgan's done this now. It's getting there. he obviously needs to get them ones for the wheels. Let me turn these on. Where's the light switch? Do I need the ignition on, or can I just do it with the stalk? Oh, here we go. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. They're fading all different colours on the tractor. Let's get them to match in a second. Maybe not. There you go. Sort of matches colours. This tractor is nearly ready for its wheels. Don't forget, you've still got time to book on for it on the 22nd. Biggest route ever, but a little bit easier to drive, shall we say. So get yourself on, give Eel an email, festivefarmers@agricontract.com. Something absolutely huge is going to turn up as well on Monday to go on it with us, so that'll be good. It just means it's going to need lots and lots of lights. Another thing, talking to some MPs last night, it became quite apparent that some of them still don't actually understand the whole APR, BPR thing. So I'm going to try and sum it up in 2 minutes, and then I'll chop it up and I'll put it on the socials, and I want you to all tag your MPs or send it to your MPs. So now, 2 minutes on APR, go. Right, what is all the fuss about inheritance tax and farms and businesses? I'll try and sum it up in less than 2 minutes. Firstly, agricultural property relief is what you would get when you inherited a business asset that was agricultural. BPR is a business asset. It used to be that it'd be passed tax-free. So if you were running a family business or a family farm and you died, who you left it to would not pay tax. A lot of these businesses are generational, so they started off small and over years would have turned into big businesses. From little acorns, big oaks grow, shall we say. In the climate at the moment, whether it's agriculture or any other business, it is very hard to make a profit and a margin, specifically in farming, because we can't change our pricing structure. We are price takers, not price setters. But equally, other businesses will have a property, whether you're making a factory, you've got a factory or a brewery or even a hotel or something like that. They'll have huge value on paper, even though they'll only generate tiny profits. Now, when you try and pass that on to the next generation, you will be taxed at either 20 or 40% of the value of the paper valuation of that business, which is completely unsustainable. So it will either put farmers out of business, or it'll put business owners out of business, or their children will not be able to carry on. Agriculture cannot change the rate of what it sells something for. Other businesses potentially can, but of course that makes them uncompetitive against other companies that won't have the same problem. Them other companies tend to not be family business and tend to be massive corporations that have lots of shareholders. So essentially what will happen is now family businesses will become uncompetitive, multinationals will buy them out or take them over, and we will lose UK homegrown business and homegrown farms. We can't have this happen. It is such a ridiculous thought up policy that needs putting straight away in the bin, or the bar needs raising up higher to protect business, because business employs people. Without businesses employing people, we've got unemployment. Without businesses generating money to pay taxes, whether that's the employees paying their taxes or whether it's the business paying corporation tax or income tax, then where's the money going to come from to pay for the public sector? We need business in the UK, and more importantly, we need farms, because without farms, we can't feed people. So the APR and the BPR changes are going to devastate family business and family farms. Send it to your MP. That might be too waffly, so I might not put that on Twitter. I don't know, I'll see. But yeah, anyway, that is all for today. I'm going to go do the birthdays. If you made it this far, click like, that'd be amazing. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Oh, sorry, yeah, one last thing. If you can make it on Monday, the 16th, to the London Palladium, links below, free to attend. Get yourself there. Some great speakers, some political heavyweights going to be there as well. And we'll get that message across to the press and to the government of what's going on. Bye for now. A few on the birthday bump today. We've got Sandra Simpson, Chevronics, I think it's pronounced. Dan Clark's 29. Matt Shaw. Millen Clifford, I think it's pronounced. Samantha Muse, 23. And Mick Power, big 80. So happy birthday to everyone on there. And we're now well on our way to 82,000 as well, plus gift aid. Obviously, over the last few weeks, we've been in Westminster quite a bit, whether we've had 45,000 farmers and the BBC only reported 10,000, whether we had all them tractors there yesterday and the BBC barely even mentioned it, but Sky News and all the other news channels were all over it, including GB News. Anyway, I did a little bit for GB News yesterday. You can find GB News, I think it's on channel 268 as well. Sorry, channel 236. Anyway, here's the interview I did yesterday, but yeah, just the BBC at the moment, they're really annoying me with some of the stuff that they've been not putting out. I was going to say putting out, but not putting out, or specifically the word. Anyway, here's that to end with. Double ending. Thanks for watching. Bye.
This is the former editor of the Labour list, Peter Edwards, and the farmer and the spiritual leaders. One of them, certainly, which makes you blush, but it's true. And that's Mr. Ollie Harrison. Ollie, let's start with you. So second time now in only a few weeks that farmers have amassed in Westminster. Last time you're on foot, this time you're on tractors. I noticed there was nothing attached to the tractors. No attempt, for example, to spread any silage at this time, any rate. Do you think they're listening to you?
I'd like to think so. So we've spoke to a few ministers or advisors to ministers, and they are, by the sounds of things, a little bit embarrassed, but they've not actually publicly come out and said that. So half of me is like quietly confident, but then the other half of me, every time I hear this 22 billion back hole, I think if you put £1 in it every time you said it, you would be okay.
Good point. But today, the government has said that they're injecting £343 million into the rural economy, and it's going to be over £5 billion into the farming budget. So they've announced that today. So what have you got to moan about?
So the 350 million is paying us for work that we've just done over the last 12 months for them, for their environmental stuff that they wanted us to deliver where we stopped growing food. The 5 billion is over 2 years, and it's less than the previous government were doing each year to keep us in business, to insulate us from bad weather.
So today I was out there, as I said, very carnival atmosphere, very joyous, very celebratory. The farmers were in fine fettle. But will that work? There's constant talk of some kind of escalation. And here we go again, it's Christmas. Mick Lynch has just said that the train drivers are going on strike again. Strikes seem to work. Strikes got train drivers, 3-day week, £60,000 a year, £500 million pay rise at the time you boys went on strike.
Well, it's looking that way, isn't it? Or, maybe we should join them. They seem to know what to do there, don't they? It'd be a shame if tractors started breaking down on level crossings. I just don't get it. Like, we want a conversation. We know what they were trying to do. They were trying to get the £1 billion tax dodgers buying farmland, and they've just completely missed the target by putting the bar too low. We want a conversation. The effort have met today to discuss food security over these, this budget, shall we say. Hopefully they'll be listened to. And we might get some progress or get an open conversation with them.
Peter Edwards, isn't that what needs to happen next? I've had four farmer leaders in today alone now, and I was out on the streets earlier, and they want to be listened to. They want to talk, and I think these gentlemen all agree that the big landowners, those who are gaming the system by buying land to dodge tax, who aren't really farmers at all, they perhaps should get the focus of the government. But in making it about all farmers, in a similar way, actually, it's about all pensioners lost their winter fuel allowance. Have the Labour Party simply bitten off more than they can chew? And should they sit down with the farmers and try and reach some kind of compromise before it escalates further?
Well, negotiation's always good, and I say that having worked in Westminster and run a small company, but just it's not the case that all pensioners will lose their winter fuel allowance. So it's not the case that all farmers will be caught by this tax change. The one figure most often quoted by the government is that for a married couple who own a farm, their tax-free threshold would go up to £5 million. Yet, if I was married, for my wife and I, it would be £1 million. So even after this change, which I understand farmers are concerned about because they often survive on a margin, if they survive economically at all, but even if this change goes ahead, which I think it will, farmers will still be treated much more favourably than the rest of society in terms of inheritance tax.
Ollie, over to you.
It's 3 million, not 5, if you can get the right circumstances, which not many farms meet. But that's regardless. Firstly, why should anyone pay inheritance tax? Secondly, why should a business pay inheritance tax? And thirdly, why should a business that can't control its output cost pay inheritance tax? That is the difference with agriculture. That is why we get a subsidy to stay in business. We talked about the trains before. 11.5 billion the trains get. Last time I checked, I don't need a train 3 times a day to be alive. Now, let's just think about where food comes from and what farmers are doing every single day.
It is worth pointing out that a total abolishment of inheritance tax would lose the Exchequer billions and billions of pounds. So there's an understandable reason why they would want it to be as it is. Have you got that clip that I could show you of Sir Keir Starmer? Sir Keir Starmer addressed the NFU conference, I think, last October. I'm going to call that up in a minute. I want to show that to you because, to both of you, it appears to show something of a U-turn. Let's get that clip now. This is Keir Starmer addressing the National Farmers Union back in October, before the general election.
Every day seems to bring a new existential risk to British farming. Losing a farm is not like losing any other business. It can't come back.
See, Sir Keir Starmer there, Peter Edwards, is saying exactly what the farmers are saying now. Farms aren't like any other businesses. If you break them up, they don't come back. He said one thing before the election, and now once again, this is something that people get very annoyed about Sir Keir Starmer. He's got a completely different position. Now he's in power.
I'm not sure that's fair, and I think if you break up any family business, it tends to be gone forever. Take the family greengrocer, for example. If you break that up, that service is more likely to be offered by a nationwide multi-billion-pound global supermarket. So that applies to any small business. But I want to make one other point based on what Ollie said, which Ollie said in reference to government subsidies for the rail industry. You don't need to get a train to live. But actually, many people do. I and millions of others get the train to work every day to earn a salary.
What about
to
Christmas? We're all drop dead then. We can't get home. They go on strike to get what they want. The farmers are playing by Queensberry rules.
Well, I don't think that's the case. And sadly, no, I've got huge respect for farmers, and I have some friends in the farming community in Scotland, but there's a minority of farmers today saying we'll bring the country to a standstill, and saying this is war on the clip you showed earlier. And again,
you support the train drivers for going on strike. I mean, the Labour Party backed the unions who are going on strike. What's the difference? Why don't you back the farmers?
Well, first of all, I don't think you should say we're going on to war. And imagine a rail union leader had said that. I'd imagine there'd be condemnation from an awful lot of newspapers. Secondly, I've got a lot of sympathy for farmers. A lot of issues about surviving on a margin, loneliness, trying to keep a vital part of our food infrastructure going, ensuring the longevity of your kind of household economic situation. But they're only being brought back to a lesser inheritance tax standard than the rest of us. They still, even after this change, enjoy enormous tax benefits.
OK, final word to you, Ollie Harrison.
He just said we get tax benefits. Why is that? Because they do have some understanding of how fragile the agricultural industry is, because we are the only people that are price takers, not price setters. And as for the trains, you can still get a car or walk, but what else can you eat?
Superb, sir. Thank you very much, Ollie Harrison and Peter Edwards. A spirited debate. Thank you very, very much. This one will go on and on. But will the government listen or change their position? Will they plough the same old furrow?